guys! I got a new webcam so I can make narrated slideshows of the thousands of pictures that I take with the intention of eventually doing something with. So here is an attempt at trying that. This is going to be a short video, and these photos I took just before that huge winter storm came across the US back in late January. And let's see, stop sharing. I'm getting used to everything and all the pop-ups and everything in this program, so please bear with me while I figure all this out on camera. I'm not used to being in front of a camera, even though I can't even see myself, but I know I'm on camera, so it makes me a little bit nervous. All right, hide. Okay, so I took this photo at 12:26. And these chemtrails eventually turned into a completely overcast layer, which you'll see in the following photos. And I live in central Arizona, near Phoenix. So that's where these photos are taken. So here we are at 12:26. X marks the spot. See all these lines eventually just spread out and turn into these wispy, thin cloud layers, which eventually turn into a really thick overcast layer, and eventually it will rain. And I've noticed that here in Arizona, at least, say that there's a 10-day forecast, and 3 or 4 of those days is supposed to be cloudy. I'd say a good 75% of the time, if clouds are forecasted, there will be chemtrails on the days leading up to the clouds and the overcast weather. So let's see. Oh, and then of course we had that huge geomagnetic storm, January 19th and 20th, that coronal mass ejection. And then this winter storm happened. So really interesting. And hopefully my laptop's not too loud. It's screaming since I started recording. I have a fan aimed at it, and I have it on this cooling pad, but the fans are still just bzzz. Oh, that's in there. Charles and Diana, forever obsessed with trying to figure out the whole inverted thing in the royal family. It's really interesting. Okay, so this is really interesting too. So you see these lines right here? So let me back up. These clouds right here are chem clouds, and I saw it happen. When I got to this neighborhood, it was pretty much clear, but I could see like the chemtrails turning into, spreading out and turning into this layer. And I actually saw this kind of moving toward me. And then what happened is, so you have this overcast layer, and then above it you will get chemtrails above the overcast layer, and so you're getting the shadow of the chemtrail on the top of the overcast layer, and it's just wild. Look at that. Of course, pictures don't do it justice, but super, super crazy. And has anybody ever noticed that on chemtrail days the sun feels really white? I've noticed here in Arizona, sometimes you have that like soft yellow incandescent sun that we all remember from when we were kids. And then other days it'll just be white and very intense, and it burns to be out in the sun for even just a few minutes. Even with sunglasses, my eyes are straining. But yeah, I've definitely noticed a difference with the sun on the chemtrail days. Yeah, those shadows are super, super wild. And then you can't see it too well in this photo, but there's some really interesting clouds back here too. Nothing to see here, just contrails. What really blows my mind about the whole chemtrail thing and people thinking it's just conspiracy, you'll have day after day after day after day here in Arizona of just clear blue sky, just blue from one horizon to the other. Just amazing. And then the next day, you'll have, the same humidity, same temperature. And if you look at the weather sounding charts, it'll be pretty much the same as the day prior, but it'll be just cobwebs everywhere early in the morning. And then by sunset, you have not necessarily overcast, but you have a lot of these wispy cloud formations by sunset. And then the next day, it'll just be clear again. And I don't see how atmospheric conditions can be so vastly different from one day to the next that you'll have chemtrails one day, contrails one day and not the next. So anyway, I know a lot of you guys have noticed that too, but okay, so this is interesting. All right, so you see this X right here? Eventually, it turns into something that looks like this. See, this was an X. Is this the same thing? No. Okay, so this is 214, 213, so I'm looking just in a different direction here. So that was an X. Oh, with the way the wind was that day, I'd say maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes earlier, maybe 30 minutes earlier, that was just an X like this. And now you have that. Yeah, that shadow really tripped me out. I've seen that a few times now. I saw it one day where it was clear, but there was just the chemtrail. And kind of like that picture I just showed you with the two X's. But the sun hit it at just the right angle, and you could see the shadow underneath the chemtrail. It was really creepy. It's buried in the 60,000 photos I have on my phone. Another X. Oh, and there's that other one I think I was just talking about. It was right next to it. So see, bam, bam, and then bam, bam. Another X. Oh, that's a zoomed in photo of those clouds I pointed out earlier. This was a video I made. I had a Karen yelling at me. It was great. So much going on here. Look at this. Wow. And then, of course, I was all over Facebook and YouTube with looking at pictures that people were posting in the days leading up to the massive winter storm that occurred. And chemtrails were all over the U.S. I mean, from coast to coast, it seemed pictures were being posted of chemtrails. This is not my photo, but this was taken in Arches National Park, long exposure during the geomagnetic storm. So a bit of an aurora there, but only with the long exposure. This is not my photo, but this was also in Arizona the same day, January 22nd. I think this was just, where was this? I think it started with an L. I forget, but I got it from an Arizona weather group on Facebook. So credit to whoever this photo belongs to. incredible, very artificial. And do you remember earlier in the video when I said I saw the overcast layer like moving toward me when I was in that neighborhood? This is kind of what it looked like. I could see the edge of everything, and it was just kind of moving toward me. Not my photo, but Mamada's clouds. I don't know if this was actually from that storm, but anyway, beautiful photograph nonetheless. Okay, back to my photos. So this is that same day, later in the evening, in Florence, Arizona. Really cool town, a lot of history, a lot of melted stuff everywhere around Florence. And this is one of the abandoned prisons that you can spook around the perimeter of. And yeah, just crazy chemtrails again. All day that day. I actually have a video up of these photos. I mean, I made a video there and I posted that, but these are the photos from that day. But yeah, you can see the video in my uploads. And I've also noticed that these clouds, I call them jellyfish clouds, but they occur a lot on chemtrail days. Definitely seen that pattern. I would so love to go in there and spook around, but not going to happen. It's a really large prison complex with the Quonset huts, and it's interesting. And then you can see that same pattern I pointed out earlier. It was occurring here as well. Those clouds back there look like they're being zapped by some sort of frequency, and it creates that shape. Yeah, just more of the same thing. Just astonishing to see everything leading up to that very geo-engineered winter storm. There's Jasmine. And here's where that was, the Arizona State Prison East Unit in Florence. Let's see, what's this? But anyway, I have tons of photographs, and this was just a quick video to try out the webcam and see how I like the audio and the video and all of that. So thanks for watching, and if you have any chemtrail photos, please share them. I'd love to see your chemtrail photos. All right, guys, bye for now.